Shavua Tov and good morning, continuing halachot of HaMoed. And now to go into the major topic of Davar HaAved. We've mentioned this a number of times in the past, very generally and broadly, but we need to flesh out the details and the specifics of this concept. The Heter, generally speaking, is there's something which is going to be lost. It's permissible to do a melacha for it on the Moed, even if it's a melechet uman, even if it's a professional activity, if it's going to get lost. Now, again, the details of this, what does it mean going to get lost, how likely, and so on, all of this needs to be fleshed out. The main reason for this, there's a number of reasons in the Rishonim for this heter, which is found in the Gemara and the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch, many examples, is that firstly, it'll take away from a person's happiness of the Moed. If they know that by not doing anything and by being passive, they're going to lose out, then that will detract from their simcha of the Moed. And of course, an essential element of the Moed is the simcha and the happiness on it. Second reason given is that the principle the Gemara says in various places, Torah hasa mamonam she'Yisrael. Torah cares about our property. And if the result of this is going to be that we're going to lose out by being passive, one is allowed to do a melacha on the Moed, even though it's not necessarily for the need of the Moed, and even though it's a melechet uman. Now, there are many misconceptions with regards to this whole topic. Firstly, to lay out, and this is the general principle, although there are exceptions, the general principle is that Davar HaAved means losing something which is already in a person's property, not the loss of gain. Because if you think about it, one could argue, let's say a person has a job of buying and selling stuff on the Moed. So if I don't do my business on the Moed, then I am going to lose out my profits. That's not called Davar HaAved, that's called loss of gain, that's called loss of profit. That doesn't fall under that. What we're talking about when we say Davar HaAved, something which is going to be lost, something which I already have, and by being passive, I'm going to lose it, or there's a reasonable chance I'm going to lose it. That is what we mean when we say Davar HaAved. So, examples of the Shulchan Aruch, and then we'll take it to nowadays. The Shulchan Aruch talks about grapes in a person's vineyard. So you have grapes which are yours. They're there, and they're in the vineyard. And if you don't harvest them, they're going to fall and they're going to get crushed and they're not going to be nice anymore. That is a classical Davar HaAved. And that you could do a full melacha and spending the whole day on the Moed harvesting your grapes. Because if I don't do that, they're going to fall and they're going to get, they're going to be repugnant. And so therefore, I can do it now on the Moed because this is already something which is I own, something in my property. And by being passive, I'm going to lose out on it. Similarly, Shulchan Aruch talks about watering plants. If I don't water my plants on the Moed, then they're going to deteriorate. So this is something which I already have, but now by being passive, I'm going to lose out on it. That is what we mean when we say it's permissible for a person to do so. In contradistinction, Shulchan Aruch writes, if there's a lost article somewhere, you see a lost article, and there's going to be quite some effort and melacha involved to be able to get it. So you see on the tide, you see something valuable traveling past, and you want to jump onto a boat or jump onto something and to try to find it. That is not allowed, even though it may be something which is expensive. But you're not losing by being passive. By being passive, what's happening is you're not going to be getting that profit, that gain which you wanted to get. That's a crucial distinction. Again, there are exceptions to this, but that is the starting point. That is the crucial distinction between mini'at harevach, which means loss of profit, which is generally speaking not allowed to engage in an activity on the Moed for it, with regards to genuinely losing something, which by being inactive, I am going to now lose my ability to be able to do that. So that's the general principle which we need to bear in mind when thinking about these melachot. Rambam, interestingly, writes, when he codifies this, he says, hefsed mirubeh only. He says, a substantial loss. And he seems to be implying that only something which is substantial is permissible for a person to do a melacha for it. We'll discuss that tomorrow, B'ezras Hashem, and go into further details with regards to all of